As I look back at the moments I've spent my little corner of the atlas, and I wonder about my status and the original source of my habits, and how the influences of my life when I was young still affect me, for better or for worse, direct or indirectly, correcting me gently and with love when I was wrong. The clarity of hindsight highlights my parents' strong parental influence, even at the times I shunned and searched for relevance under the influence of throngs of peer groups when I was young and impressionable to those I idolised. Had the inevitable enticement of advertising in our eyes, had to have the right clothes, the right shoes, hang out in the cool groups, tightrope walking the thin line between youth group and booze, confused about who I was, but guided by the wisdom of God, my mum and dad when I had to make the big decisions, and took the time to listen to many times I learnt life hard, succumbed to those who didn't have my best interests at heart. What kind of friends involved kids with drugs and alcohol? But looking back I can see how all those decisions played a role in the choices that I made. Now I can see that I was chained by dependence and in pain, strain, rain, but I was saved by the blood. But by the same token I'm open to the fact that all those choices made me who I am, and I'm proud of where I'm at. So as I look back at the moments that affected me so profoundly, I wonder how my words and actions influence those around me. I look back at the moments that affected me so profoundly and wonder how my words and actions influence those around me. Influence. Under the influence, influence. Under the influence, we're all operating. Under the influence, influence. Under the influence, we're all operating. Under the influence, influence. Under the influence, influence. Words have power to build up or tear down the recipient, reinforce positive imagery or feed self-negativity, and consolidate internally well-hidden insecurities. And a harsh word even spoken in jest can wound a psyche brutally. Inversely, a compliment can build one who receives it to help achieve their dreams when they know someone believes in their abilities. So it's critically important for me to think before I open my mouth, may never know the effect of the words I speak. And God knows I've made my fair share of mistakes in word and deed, and been on the receiving end and felt the pain when my heart bleeds. And I consider myself strong, these words don't bother me, but in the darkness they'll play on the mind like Alicia on the keys. And if this is common knowledge, then why is all I see an entire culture drowning in waves of negativity? It's no revelation in most minds, but a revolution of my heart. So I've got to start somewhere and at least try to be aware, so that when I look back at the moments that affected me so profoundly, I'll be aware of how my actions influence those around me. I look back at the moments that affected me so profoundly, and I'll be aware of how my actions influence those around me. Influence. Under the influence, influence. Under the influence, we're all operating. Under the influence, influence. Under the influence, we're all operating. Under the influence, influence. Under the influence, influence. This goes out to my dad, my mum, my beautiful wife Jess, my four wonderful kids Talia, Joel, Josh, Amy Lee. Most amazing influence and inspiration. I reflect on aspects of childhood and adolescence, and the presence of influences and their makeup of my essence, and how they factor into all the decisions that I made, and continue to as I move through life day to day. But I never gave it 5 thoughts until the day that I brought home my little baby daughter. The first time now I'm a father, and I want to be the kind of man my children can respect and be inspired by and aspire to be like. I had to reevaluate the kind of lifestyle I'd been living, the influence I'd be giving to my children's upbringing. I want to be the kind of dad that my dad was to me, feed them positive energy in thought, word and deed. And I know I'm far from perfect, or maybe even good, but I want to look back and know I honestly did the best I could. So I'll continue to endeavour to improve and do better, and consider what I say and do before the acts unfettered, so that when my kids look back at the moments that affected them, they'll proudly remember how their dad influenced them profoundly. When my kids look back at the moments that affected them, they'll proudly remember how their dad influenced them profoundly. Influence. Under the influence, influence. Under the influence, we're all